Less than half of Wisconsin voters want Governor Tony Evers to run for a third term.
And most people think the president's budget proposals will increase inflation. These are just some of the key findings from the latest Marquette Law School poll, which surveyed registered voters in Wisconsin. Joining us now, the poll's director, Charles Franklin. Welcome back to Live at 4.
Hi, Charles. Good to see you.
Yeah, Thanks. When it comes to Governor Evers, I wanted to know these poll results. Do you think they're enough to sway him one way or the other to run again or bow out?
I would doubt that they sway his decision much one way or another. 42% say they'd like him to run, but 55% say they'd like him not to run, and a few don't have an opinion. But among Democrats, it's about 83% would like him to run, so that's solid support, but not quite unanimous. About 15% say not run. Interestingly, there's not much of an age difference. Among Democrats under 30, it's 28% not run, but among all other age categories, it's in the low teens not run. So we don't see that big gap in age that we saw with Biden.
That's interesting. We've been following the budget, the state budget, very closely, and your poll showed that 65% of voters would like more than half of the state budget surplus. We have a surplus in Wisconsin to go to tax cuts. So which budget do you think people are going to support, the governor's or the Republicans in the legislature?
You know, it's very clear. If you're a Republican, you want a bigger share to go to tax cuts. If you're Democrat, you want less of a share. It's sort of evenly divided. 35% would like 75 or 100% to go to tax cuts. And 35% would like 25 or 0% to go, and then there's whatever that's left in the middle, 30-something percent. And so it's a teetering thing. There's no question that a lot of people would like at least a significant tax cut, but whether it's at the high end of the $4 billion surplus or at the low end, very much depends on which party you're in.
Interesting.
Something interesting we noticed in this poll, Governor Evers' approval rating is higher than the legislature's by about 7%. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, first of all, Evers is the most popular figure in the state in our polling over his entire term in office. He's consistently the one with the best ratings. And legislatures never get a very high approval rating. And I don't know if it's fair to them to point that out, but that's just a fact. So the legislative approval is at 41, Evers is at 48. That's a bit of a gap. On the other hand, the legislature's been worse off, but Evers has been better off at some times.
Now, you also asked about President Trump and how Wisconsin voters are feeling about that. Now, this was pre-strike in Iran, so whenever you do a poll, then something big happens.
Yes,
never fails.
Always happens.
But what did the poll show?
Yeah, Trump's job approval rating is 47.52. That's down just a single point from where he was in February, our last Wisconsin poll. National polling showed him dipping in the spring, but recovering a bit in May and June. We don't have that middle area, so it doesn't look like much change for him. Okay. Some of his policies, though, are not so popular.
And a lot of us in Wisconsin, particularly Madison, we're keeping an eye on the federal funding in regards to the university system. What did the poll find across all parties on that issue? Yeah,
the public is evenly split on increasing or cutting the UW budget. About 27% say it should be increased. 49% say it should be kept where it is, and 23% say a cut. Even when we then tell them that the state ranks 44th out of 50 states in university funding, support for an increase only goes up to 41%. 57% say the universities have to just learn to live within their means.
Very interesting. So no major swings or surprises from your previous poll?
No, things are fairly stable. People don't like tariffs. They're worried about inflation. They think the federal deficit is going to increase. Those things are the same. And feelings about various politicians are pretty stable. Elon Musk is a little less popular than he was before.
Interesting.
Charles, thank you very much for being on with us as always.
Thank you.
Great to see you.